Hello, crew. Welcome to your 7 Minutes of Piracy. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in.
Today, we're going to talk about what pirates ate on the ship.
And drink.
And drank. A lot.
They drink a lot. So, the pirate ships, when they headed out to sea, could be out to sea for up to 6 months. Really, their only limitation at the time was how much drinking water or how much liquid they could take with them. Because when you ran out of something to drink, your crew started dying. So as much water they could carry. Unfortunately, the water didn't start out pure. Water was usually, at the time, put in a barrel from lakes, streams, rivers. A lot of times there would be some algae in there. It would start to mold or rot or decay, turn rancid. And so that's about the time pirates started adding rum to the water to make it palatable. We're going to talk a little more about that later.
Interesting. So food storage, they didn't have refrigerators or freezers, so they couldn't keep their food fresh. So they did bring along meat, bread, dairy, and produce, but they had to eat it really quick or it was going to rot, like Rob was saying. So they ate really good at the beginning of their voyage.
And after every stop.
Yes.
Some of the things they brought with them, obviously a lot of dried meats, salted meats. Any bread they had was in the form of biscuits or hardtack. We're actually going to talk about some hardtack later. But everything had to be dried and then reconstituted with water for the long-term storage.
They also did livestock. If they had the room, they would either bring livestock on or they would steal livestock. Because piracy. Goats, cows, chickens for the obvious milk and eggs. And then, of course, once their fresh meat and stuff went bad, they slaughtered the cows, goats, and chickens and ate them. And then they also, if they were near a port or near land, they could fish. But fishing was actually not really popular, which kind of surprised me when I read about this, because it wasn't bountiful. It really wasn't worth the effort, and they really didn't have a lot of free sailors to just kind of hang out and fish. So I was really surprised because I thought they would eat a lot of fish, but they really didn't.
And something else we were reading, the fishing was usually only worthwhile when they were close to land or an island or something like that. When they were out in the middle of the sea, not a lot of fish around. I was helping. Okay. Let's talk about the water they had. They would, obviously they preferred alcohol, beer, ale, wine, and brandy. The only problem with the alcohol and the beer is once that keg was tapped, they had to drink it within a really relative short amount of time or it would start to spoil. They would save the rum for last because the rum could be diluted on its own. A little rum with a little water was grog, a little rum with a little sugar and lemon or lime juice. And you had a daiquiri, rum with a little sugar and mint, and you had a mojito. So the rum helped them drink whatever they had on hand, and they usually save that for the last.
Yes. So they also had dried goods like dried meats. They had oats. They had dried peas and beans were a good staple. And of course, they would soak those and reconstitute them so they can actually eat them. Little fun fact is when pirate ships came along, trade ships, they weren't looking for gold and treasures like you would think they would. No, they were there to steal the water and the rum and the food because that was priority.
I mean, they also took the gold.
Well, they did, but I mean, their main goal was to restock their ship with their food. So I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
One of the recipes that we learned about this past week was bone soup, which is just what it sounds like. They would take the leftover bones from whatever they had at the time. They preferred pork or beef or chicken bones. But as you got later in the voyage, they would sometimes boil rat bones if they found them, or if they caught birds on the ship, the bird bones. And it's basically, you get a pot of water, you throw the bones in there. They would add some vegetables, potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic. And then you had to add vinegar to the soup. The vinegar actually drew the calcium out of the bones and helped give the soup a flavor. I'm guessing vinegar and bone flavor. It doesn't sound great to me, but you know what? If
I'm hungry, I guess.
If you've been out there for 6 months and hey, bone soup it is.
Yuck. No, thank you. Oh. Okay, so let's go back to hardtack. Hardtack was a staple on the ships. It's been around for centuries. Sailors, soldiers, the pioneers, and travelers, even backpackers of today will make their version of hardtack. But it was really simple to make. It's flour, water, and salt, and that's it. And you make it into a dough. You roll it out. You poke holes into it. And Rob's going to show you. And there's hardtack. And you bake it until it is bone dry. And seriously, tap that. Have a dentist on standby when you eat this because it will break your teeth. And they actually did soak it in whatever they were drinking to soften it up so they could actually get it down.
When we started reading, we thought the hardtack was something they just handed out and ate, but definitely they had to soak it in either whatever they were drinking or if they had soup or whatever it was. But I mean, you're taking your life in your own hands if you're eating this right off the go.
And literally, you would break a tooth on that. I mean, that's really hard.
Yeah, you definitely could.
So,
we're going to come back to that for our Pirate Fact of the Week, but let's talk about our drink of the week.
Yes,
I've been sampling while you were talking.
I know, it's really good. It's called
terrific.
I pre-blended it because the blender and the video doesn't usually go well. But it's called Shipwrecked, and it is light rum, dark rum, lime juice, which I think I might have put a little too much lime juice in there.
A little lime juice in there.
Pineapple chunks and simple syrup. So it's real easy. You just throw it all in a blender and some ice. You throw it all in a blender. And
as a man, I don't know what a simple syrup is.
Simple syrup is sugar and water boiled down till the sugar dissolves, and it just becomes a syrup. So
I was thinking of Mrs. Butterworth, so I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, no, don't put that in. But anyway, it's the lime will prevent scurvy. The pineapple, so you're getting some vitamins in there.
Hey, let's get shipwrecked.
Shipwrecked.
That is terrific.
Oh, it's good.
I'm gonna drop my hardtack in there, and
I do. I'll take my piece of hardtack.
In about 10 or 15 minutes, that should be edible.
Probably shouldn't do that. I'll break the glass.
Let me tell you about your Pirate Fact of the Week. We've talked about hardtack a couple times. Like Margaret said, hardtack has been around for centuries. There is a castle in Denmark that has the oldest surviving edible, palatable hardtack. It was supposedly prepared in 1851, which would make it 171 years old. But if you take the tour of the castle, they will show the display where they've got the hardtack there. And again, it's just flour, water, and salt dried out. But once you dry it out, remove all the moisture. Shipwreck. Once you remove all the moisture, it's going to last forever. And that was exactly what they needed on the ship. When you're out there 4 or 5 months and you're running out of food and hardtack is all they had, at least they didn't have to worry about that spoiling because it lasted forever.
That's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So we've been letting our hardtack sit in our shipwreck for about 5 minutes now. And it's still as hard as a teenager on prom night. I mean, it's just, it's not budging at all. I think another 10 minutes, it might actually be palatable. Hey, thanks for tuning in this week. Leave some comments for us. Subscribe to our channel. Tell your friends about it. Trying to grow the channel. The more the merrier. We appreciate you. We appreciate your time. We know your time is valuable. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We value each and every one of you.
Every one of you.
Every one of you.
Until we see each other again next week, fair winds, my friends.